There we go. Well, once again, good evening, Success Partners. This is Steve Beck in Morris, Illinois. I have the pleasure of starting us off with a little bit of music every week. I hope you enjoyed the Halloween stuff. And then we begin our call, as we always do, with our signature message. You can say it along with me if you like, but it goes like this. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. And with that, to get us started this evening, one of the two leaders who puts this call together for us every Sunday, out of Evansville, Indiana, the great Leigh Perry. Leigh, go ahead.
The great Leigh Perry. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it very much. Happy Halloweeny to everybody. We actually had trick-or-treaters tonight. We were so excited. All right. And for stories that really matter, we're going out to Annette Szobar in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Thank you, Leigh and Steve. Happy Halloween, everybody. Yep. It's story time. My name is Annette Szobar, Gulfport, Mississippi, background QuickBooks consulting. So a reminder, why do we do these stories every week? Well, they're important. They're how we share the incredible impact Legal Shield has had on the lives of our members and associates. They motivate us, help us make connections. And they're really important, especially if you're new, because you can borrow these stories you're about to hear. And even if you've been around a while like me, you still need to hear these stories. So pay attention to how the story's told, who told it, their background, and you might even be able to get them to do a three-way call with you with the prospect if it's appropriate. So for our first story tonight, we are going to go to Darien, Illinois, and hear from Ms. Lisa Holmes. Lisa, you're on.
Thank you. Had a very frustrating situation with PayPal. For almost a month, they were sitting on hundreds of dollars. I was repeatedly asked to provide my Social Security number online, even though I'd been receiving funds from PayPal for years without issue. The funds were not released, and I decided to pick up the phone and try to actually get a person. When I got a person, I confirmed the information again and was told that it would be up to 72 hours before it was approved and the funds would be released. And after 72 hours, those funds weren't released. I called back again and talked to yet another person after a significant amount of time on hold, gave her the ticket number of the person, the conversation previously, and she said she didn't even recognize the ticket number. So we went through the information for the umpteenth time. And again, I was told it would be 7 to 10 days before it would be approved. And I just basically said that that was completely unacceptable. So I asked to speak to a supervisor, and I was on hold for over an hour. And the rep came back and she said, well, I found an available supervisor and I'll transfer you there now. So I thanked her and gritted my teeth and was put back on hold. She transferred me and somebody picked up and then put it back on hold, and I continued to listen to the same music again. And after a few minutes, somebody picked up, said nothing, put the phone back on hold again. And for another 20 minutes that happened, and then the call dropped. So I had just been completely fed up. And then the Legal Shield light bulb went on. And so I decided to give them a call and hoping they might be able to help. After speaking with the attorney the same day, I was really surprised to find out that they had a fax number for PayPal. So, I probably wasn't the first person to have an issue with them. So the fax was sent the next business day. And at the end of the day, I received a call and it said PayPal on the inbound. And the person said that he was very high up on the tech side of PayPal. He could see what the problem was and said he updated it. And like he was pushing a button, and at the same instant, my phone chimed and I saw that the deposit had been made into my bank. So after weeks of utter frustration, ridiculous hold times and no resolution, they were available in the blink of an eye. And while I was happy about that outcome, I started to have some concerns about my Social Security number being bandied about so many times. So to be safe, I called ID Shield and explained the situation and asked what they would suggest. The investigator, who was super professional, said the best way was to put a hold on my social with all of the 3 credit bureaus, and that to release it, I would just need to send a fax over. And really that took place in a matter of minutes. And so basically had the 1-2 punch with Legal Shield and ID Shield. So how can you go wrong?
Thank you so much, Lisa. That is really an amazing story. You know, even if it was for $1, dealing with a company like PayPal is such a huge issue that our law firm was able to handle it. So that is really great. And I'll bet that Legal Shield light bulb is going to start going off sooner for you in the future.
It sure is.
For our next story, I have a story. I have been waiting to tell this for a couple of days. Earlier in the week, one of my Legal Shield members called me. Older guy, very feeble voice. He calls about every 4 or 5 months with a very long story about something going on to his life, and always asked if he should call Legal Shield. And of course I say yes. This week, another long story. When he finished, I empathized with the situation and then encouraged him to call. I reminded him that the law firm gives unlimited legal consultation for just about anything. I told him that the rule I have is that if I'm wondering, I should just pick up the phone and call. Worst case scenario is that they can't help me, but even then, they're going to be nice because that's part of their contract is to treat us with, courtesy. He then replied, and I'm going to probably have tears in my eyes. He then said, Annette, I love you. You have no idea how much your service has meant to me and my entire family. I don't know what I would have done without this. I could hear tears in his voice and I had tears in my eyes. And it was a big reminder to me that what we do matters and we really need to be telling people about it. So, guys, you have 2 more stories to add to your resources. And I know each one of you on this Zoom has more stories that the rest of us need to hear. So please get in touch with me to share them with the team. Back to you, Ms. Perry.
Thank you so much, Annette, and thanks to Lisa for sharing those stories. It just reminds us that the law firm is paid, like you said, to be professional, and they don't care if the issue is trivial. I had an issue for $20. They took care of it, or very traumatic. They'll take care of it. That's what we pay them to do for us. Well, folks, I'm super excited. We're keeping Annette Szobar. This is Annette Szobar night tonight. Because, ID Shield has partnered with Trend Micro. We've made a lot of changes. We've got upgrade options available for all of us and for our members. We now have ID Shield for Business. And Annette has made herself a little bit of an expert on all of this. I said that, she didn't. She's been posting and has a plan in place to reach all of her members and all of her prospects. So Annette, let's talk a little bit. I noticed that you took advantage of the Halloween theme. And how did you implement your ID Shield post with the Halloween theme?
I just had a couple of posts about how, Halloween's a scary time, or, it's fun, it's scary and fun, but what's really scary is identity theft. And I put one of our videos on there just to throw that out there and to get some people thinking about how that it really is scary.
So now, is that one of the new videos they've put out?
I think I put 2 different videos out. There are some new videos that are in prospect, and I know one of them that I did put out was the brand new one, and it includes the Trend Micro. But there's actually a couple of videos in there that are really good.
So
I encourage people to go to prospect to take a look at them.
Okay, that's exactly where I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
And I know that as a small business specialist and a QuickBooks advisor, you've had to make yourself a little bit of a specialist as far as people's computers, since you're remoting in and making recommendations. Could you talk a little bit about Trend Micro and what the big deal is about us partnering with them?
Well, there's a lot of free software out there. And there's a lot of other companies out there that kind of do the same thing. Trend Micro is way high up there on the list of credible companies. I know some years ago working with QuickBooks, that Trend Micro was one of the few companies, I think it was the only company out there that automatically checked the QuickBooks financial files for problems because some of the other ones didn't. So they're very comprehensive, and I like it because they're kind of unobtrusive. They run in the background. I actually have a lot of clients that use Norton, and all we do is we continually are turning it off because there's stuff they cannot do with Norton on there, and it gets in the way. And since I immediately updated as soon as I could to get the new ID Shield because to take advantage of the Trend Micro, and it just works. It's smooth. It just helps your computer. It just feels good, and the messages it gives are not, like they don't take over the whole screen. There'll just be a little pop-up that says, hey, you're downloading an attachment that's safe. So it's just really easy to use.
So you've got experience with Trend Micro. Now, do you have experience with the VPN one that we have now as a part of that package?
That is one of the things I have not yet put together, but that I think is going to be a really important thing, especially for those of us who, we take our laptops into coffee shops or wherever and access stuff. And this is going to give us a really very good connection, because you never know if you're traveling, or in a hotel or a restaurant, you never know really if that internet connection is safe. And Trend Micro has an excellent reputation. And so that's going to be about as safe as you can get.
I'm super excited to hear that because, Annette, you may remember that I've shared the story about one of my members that failed to sign up for ID Shield before she went to Mexico for her honeymoon and plugged into what she thought was the hotel Wi-Fi, and it ended up being scammers who stole everything off of her phone and kind of ruined her life. So I know that she'll be one of the first people, she's already asked me about it, to sign up for the new and improved Trend Micro. And I know also that the password manager, I had asked your advice on password managers because I'm a late adopter. Talk a little bit about their password manager. I know you were pretty excited about it.
I love the password manager. I just absolutely love it. I have so many passwords, and I have them written down. I have them hidden in various spots of my computer. And some days it feels like I spend my whole life looking up to see what passwords are. And Trend Micro has been doing a really great job of remembering them. And there's actually a part of the software where you can go into it and they're going to tell you if that's a good password, because sometimes we have some really lame passwords. And so you can actually they're going to tag the unsafe ones and give you an education about how to make them safe. So I really liked that. And all you have to do is remember the Trend Micro password. And you put that in, and then you pop up a site and you sit there for like a half a nanosecond, and Trend Micro has pop up in the corner and saying, do you want to use this username? And you say yes, and voila, your site opens up. So it's really cool.
I'm loving that. So it's not something complex to have to learn. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to learn another piece of software if I don't have to.
There's also a feature in Trend Micro, and I haven't utilized this yet. I just actually saw it earlier today. You can, those files that you have that are really, really super important, they have a vault that you can save that in. So if you have some sort of file that you have a password on, or it's some important financial document, you can put that into that vault as part of the password manager.
Awesome. That is so cool. I'm glad to hear that. I know that you were quick to the trigger to upgrade. Can you talk a little bit? I know it's a simple click and that we can all upgrade our own ID Shield and get those 5 whole points for it. But would you share a little bit about that, please?
It is really easy to do. You just go into Let's Engage. If you've been in the business, I think it's 6 months, you get to do it yourself. If you haven't, have to go to whoever you purchased ID Shield from to begin with, but it's in Ellis Engage towards the bottom in the left-hand column where it says you can upgrade, and you just really click a few buttons and it will upgrade. The trick though is getting it to change over, because there's actually a different website. It's ids.legalshield.com. I actually had to call member services because I could not figure out how to do it. I was able to get into the ID Shield part, but you have to go into this screen, the ids.legalshield.com, using your username and password to your legal plan if you're purchasing the combo. I think if you're only purchasing the upgrade to ID Shield, you can go in the old way.
Okay.
But you want to make sure that if you have any blip, just call member services. And I ended up with a really great person that walked me through the whole thing, and it was very easy to do.
Well, and that I know that you recommended that everybody upgrade their Legal Shield as well, so that they can, even if they don't need that credit counseling, they can try it so they can recommend it to their clients. Have you, I know you've upgraded your Legal Shield. Have you talked to the folks about the credit counseling piece of it yet?
You know, I've looked at it, and I have talked to a couple members about it who are kind of interested. It's so new to me, I really haven't promoted it that much, but I can see how it could be very important to do. And it's, you know, especially for someone who is like, you know, maybe someone who's young and doesn't understand credit, they're going to give you an education. And then they're also going to, the two combination plans are going to fix issues that you may have.
I've been sharing as I've been doing my networking with folks, especially if they have young adults or teenagers, that they need to get them started on the right financial footing, and that it's a great way for them to get started, to have those conversations. And I've been super excited and telling everybody, because ID Shield is important, but having this Trend Micro, and when you look at what you're paying for the software for virus protection, spam protection, all that, and a password manager, and you get all of it already included in ID Shield, I've been telling people we're your single source for personal cybersecurity protection.
Yeah, and I would highly suggest upgrade. If you don't have ID Shield, you really need to get it. I don't know how you can sell it if you don't have it. And if you have it and you have an upgrade, I would really encourage you to, you know, bite the bullet and just pay the little extra money and get it, so you understand how it all works. In Ellis Engage, there are, Dani posted this on the Team Ascent page a while back. If you go to training, and then you have to choose a training plan, there's a section for Trend Micro, and I think there's 9 different videos in there you could watch. And you really need to watch them, because your clients are going to have questions about them, and someone needs to be able to answer them. And the more you use our services, the better off you're going to be able to just answer them, because you've used them, you've been there.
Right. And then I want to take just a minute, Annette, if you would, to talk a little bit about ID Shield for small business, because I know that you have that for your small business and have been pretty pleased and got some great input from other IT professionals that are not Legal Shield associates.
You know, that was another thing when that was released. I jumped right on. As a QuickBooks consultant, I deal with financial stuff all the time, and people send me the most incredible stuff that I don't even want. And I've always been afraid of something happening to my computer. And so ID Shield for Business, they do this monthly scan, and you can do more if you want. But then they give you, I received, it's like a 70-page report of everything that they scanned. And it tells you if you passed or failed. I have absolutely no clue what any of it means, to be quite honest with you. But so I just ignored the stuff that passed. But I had some things that failed. And then I called them. And if it's something that is within your computer, they will log in to your computer and fix it for you. If it's something outside your computer, like with your website, they will tell you what it is you need to say to your website developer. So I found that very helpful. One of the people that I networked with a lot back in Illinois is a cybersecurity specialist. He works with banks and doctors' offices and, bigger companies. His price point is a minimum of $500 per computer seat. And I asked him to take a look at this, and he looked it over and got back to me. He goes, Annette, I love this. He says, there are so many people that need what I sell, but can't afford me. You have a price point that they can afford. It doesn't do everything I do, but it's an excellent alternative until they grow big enough or get enough money that they can afford more security. So I was really pleased to hear that from him, because he's someone that I really respect in terms of cybersecurity.
Fantastic. Well, Annette, thank you so much for being our featured speaker tonight and letting us pick your brain on ID Shield and ID Shield for small business. And like you said, I have put on my calendar this week that I'm going to break down those videos and watch them so that I know a little bit more about it, about the Trend Micro partnership and how to deal with all that. Thank you again. And
well, thank you. And I kind of felt like I was taking Jane Lehman's place, because she's the one that's usually telling us to go to LS Engage and do the training. So I took a few tips from you, Jane. I've listened over years a couple times.
Well, and I did put the ids.legalshield.com in the chat, so you can save the chat at the end. And of course, we've got this recorded, so you can get your teammates on here as well. Thanks again, Annette.
Thank you.
All right. You guys know it's the last of the month. It's the last day of the month. I just got texted from one of my accountability partners. He just made PC. He pushed through and did it. To get us ready for the next month, we decided, instead of waiting until the actual first Sunday of the month, since tomorrow is the first, that we would take advantage of Lynn Schuster-Williams and have her help us get our heads on straight for November. Lynn Schuster-Williams, Zoom is yours.
Thank you so much, Leigh. We're all going to wake up tomorrow morning, and either Timmer or Annette will post for us, new month, new week, new day. Let's go, right? One of those two. I get it every month from one of those two on a Facebook post. And that's going to be the case for all of us tomorrow morning. And the standard wisdom, you'd have to be brand new here to have never heard of our three-legged stool, right? One of those legs is personal development. That's what I'm here to talk about. And you'd have to be really new to have started a month when someone didn't say to you, what's your goal for this month? Where do you want to end this month? What do you want to get to? How many people do you want to recruit, or what rank do you want to get to? Or, how are you going to quantify your goal for the month? And what I want to say to you tonight is that goals are not to be set because somebody tells you you should. Goals are to be set because it gives you the benchmark to look forward and to have a vision of where you want to end up. So don't just write down a goal for the month of November because you should. Write down a goal for the month of November because you have a vision that you're excited about, because you can picture yourself at the end of November, about to wake up on December 1st going, yes, I did it, right? Get excited about what it is. Otherwise, don't write it down. Don't even write it down, right? Decide for the thing you want to hit, the place you want to be at the end of November. Decide for it. That cuts away all the other activity, and get excited about it, right? When we want to create something new in this world, we do it best by having a vision, holding the vision, infusing that vision with our feeling of excitement, our feeling of positive emotion, and then going for it, moving our feet. That old saying my grandmama used to say, pray and move your feet, right? It's not about set a goal and sit around and contemplate your navel, then hope your goal comes true, right? You got to move your feet to get to that goal too. So tomorrow morning, when we all wake up and it's a new month, a new week, a new day, right? We have a choice. And let's all make sure our choice is to move toward the vision that excites us in our business. Remember your why. Simon Sinek said, start with why. Remember your why, set your goals because they ignite your vision, and let's go have a fabulous November. Back to you, Leigh.
Thanks so much, Lynn. We so appreciate you, and the universe conspires when you decide and start moving forward. All right. Thank you. Thanks to everybody that helped put this together. A couple of quick announcements.
Hey, Leigh.
Yeah,
Can I come back and say one more thing?
absolutely.
Tomorrow night, John Drennan and Brooke Haynes, his partner in Consergo, are launching the most amazing platform. They're opening it to the world for the first time at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And I will go get the link and put it in the chat so people can register and come and bring your excitement, lend your excitement to this event. It's going to be amazing. And, you know, it's all about personal development and our three-legged stool. So just wanted to remind everybody of that, Leigh. Back to you.
Fantastic, Lynn. Thank you for putting that in there. I know we have some new folks on tonight that are not familiar with what we've been talking about. There is a Monday night Zoom presentation. Dani will be doing that. Several of us have guests. You know, we're taking that to heart about starting off fast for November. So there will be a Zoom, and that'll be at 8 Eastern. So you can hop on the Consergo Zoom, support them, and hop off and be on the team Zoom a half an hour later. And I also have a little personal thank you. Miss Linda Beck totally stepped up. You know, we've been making changes in my household to deal with some issues here. And Linda was kind enough when John asked her, would she do the Monday morning stretch call? And she did not even hesitate. She didn't ask what she was getting herself into. She just said, yes, I'll figure it out. And so kudos to Linda for being the person willing to say yes when she was asked. I so appreciate it. The break was extremely helpful for us to get our ducks in a row, and we have a solid plan for the future now. So thank you again so much. So we will be on first thing in the morning on our stretch call. If you're able to join us, we would love you to do that. It's a half hour to get your day started right with people who are like-minded. It's an awesome opportunity to move forward in your business every day from 7 to 7:30 Central, right? 7 to 7:30 Central, right? Okay, cool. All right. And I think that is it for us. Mr. Steve Beck always has a great video to take us out on. So Steve, if you'll stop recording and share your video for the evening, everybody have an awesome evening. A happy Halloween, a good Dia de los Muertos tomorrow, and have a wonderful week.